Hey crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John, and in the background today is
Curtis.
so this is our first attempt at an actual live stream. We'll see how well that goes. We don't anticipate being up and live probably what 15-20 minutes?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And so just wanted to talk about recapping the weekend, kind of what's been going on, what we've been up to. This past week, we've been sick and had the flu, so things have been a lot different. Hey, Danielle, thank you for joining. I hope I pronounced that right. Do you see that in the chat?
Yeah, it looks like it's Donnell.
No. Thanks for dropping in. So just kind of talking a little bit about what's been going on this week. We have had...
Joy T came in. It looks like her name's Joy.
Hey, Joy. And we've had the flu and been going, trying to just recoup. So trying to work from home. I'm fortunate my job allows me to work from home part-time, a couple of days a week. Curtis's normally doesn't, but because he was sick, they let him work from home this week. So we've just been trying to stay safe, stay a little bit, help me, Curtis.
A little busy and a little sane and,
Yeah, a little busy, a little sane, all of those good things. Hey, Patty from Massachusetts.
Hi, Patty.
So at the same time, we ended up missing the quilt craft show we wanted to go to this weekend. So we were really excited. What that means is for the economy in the state of Arizona, it did not do as well this weekend as it should have, because I can guarantee you there was a lot of things that we would have found at the craft show that we could not have lived without. And as such, since we weren't there, I'm sure we were missed. With that said, I actually did get quite a few projects done this week. So one of the things I still have not done that I really need to work on is the long arm. So if you've been following our channel at all, you know that we bought this long arm back in August, September. I have so far managed to long arm one quilt and still have a big learning curve there. So instead, what we do is we do works. What do they call those?
Work study?
Yeah, work in progress.
Oh, yeah. Work in progress.
Or they call them UFOs, I think is what we call them. Is that right? So anyways, we've added more to the stash this week. So do you want to show some of the quilts that we've done, some of the quilt tops we've got going?
Yeah.
So I managed to do a jelly roll, that one right there in front of you. Yeah. So that is the elf jelly roll that we did. So yes, you actually held it correctly. So come this way a little bit if you would. Come on, come on, come on, come on, so they can see a little bit better. Yeah, perfect. So this is my first real jelly roll. So it was kind of exciting. It is gnomes, and I'll show, hold it up closer to the camera in a minute for you. But I really liked the browns and the springy and the blues and the greens and that. I didn't like exactly the way the pattern told me to do some things. And at the end of the day, the number of squares, the panels weren't going to work out the way I wanted. And so instead, you know what I did? I went back and added some accent pieces. So we go up a little bit, please. So we added a lavender, a yellow, and this blue accent piece. So if you didn't notice it, that was on purpose because we wanted to make this our quilt and make it look like us. So let me have it and I'll show.
Yeah, because I'm almost close to the...
Yeah. So, but it really is a cute spring gnome pattern. And so Curtis a while back told me that we could not have any more gnomes in our house and that I could not buy any more gnomes. So we resolved that issue by now John buys fabric and makes quilt tops out of gnomes. So, you know, there's always a workaround for each and everything. So thank you all for the comments. I really appreciate that. All right. So that is one that I got done this week. the next one is
Which you want?
these two. So do one at a time. You got it? Curtis gets to be my Vanna White. How adorable is that? Hey, Patty.
Right here. What's this one?
So then I actually downloaded the Jelly Roll Jam quilt pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. And I have to say, I do love the fact that Fat Quarter Shop gives us so much. But bought this Jelly Roll, really love these patterns in that. And I think it just really, at the end of the day, pops. It's going to be obviously more like a lap quilt. But at the end of the day, I think those colors are really sharp. Do you like that?
I do.
I don't think I had seen it yet.
I can see it on the screen.
I know, but I meant after I finished it, I don't think I had shown it to you. So anyway, so there we go. So another
Do you
UFO
want
for
this
us.
one? The
Yeah.
second one?
And so because you only had to use half of a jelly roll, I thought that's crazy. Why would I not want to use the whole jelly roll? So I decided to go on and do the other one. I liked this one too, although I thought the other colors were so bright. Yeah, Joy, I agree. It was just so bright and summery. This one, even though it was in the same jelly rolls, a little bit different because it's got more of this brown and maroon in that. But again, I really liked just that pattern and how it turned out.
Yeah. It's cute.
So I think I think those worked out really well for us. So those are the 3 big projects that I got done this week. And then what else did I get? Oh, and then I've been working on this embroidery design. I really want to do a like a big quilted banner wall. And so I've been working with the embroidery machine. If you see, I still have one design left to finish stitching, but I wasn't sure how the machine and Alive would go. So we decided we better not do that. So I did stitch these out though, and I really like the rainbow colors. We're going to frame those out in something and then use these as, each of our quilt blocks. And I've got all of them done except the last one. And I will tell you, working with a single needle machine is much different than I'm used to.
John Donnell wants to know if you digitize your own patterns for embroidery.
These I did not. I can digitize. We have the Embroidery software, and I am relearning Embroidery software. So years ago, I actually owned a custom embroidery business, and we had, at one point, I had a Brother PR600, which was the biggest mistake I ever made. I started the business by buying that PR600, and that thing just worked like a workhorse. It still, to this day, runs, and I bet you it's got 10 million stitches on it. So if anyone ever tells you a Brother PR600 doesn't last, it did. I mean, it was the workhorse of our business. Behind that, we bought a Toyota, 2 Toyotas, an SWF machine. We actually had a 4-head machine. So I learned to digitize with Wilcom, which was the biggest player in the market. I know Hatch is a more home version of Wilcom, but the cost is just so ridiculous. And so, no, we didn't get back into Wilcom, but I do have Embroidery. So at some point, I hope to do. I did not digitize these, but I do hope to get into that. So just a few more. And at the end of the day, I think these are really going to turn out sharp. I think it will make a cute wall hanging. Originally, I thought about truly making this like a quilt, and then thought, no, I better not do that because I don't want anyone to mess up all these embroidery designs, right? Do you know how long it takes with a single needle to put these together and get these going? So it's like, yeah. No, that's not going to happen. So anyways, I'm down to the last one, and there will be.
Donnell asked another question. Do you take orders for digitizing a 3-color design?
We don't at this point, just because of us working full time in that. It's just been too difficult for us to be able to digitize for other folks in that. I really hope we grow that part of it, especially as I get closer to the side of retirement, because we know that'll end up being a nice second income, right, to go with our Social Security, what's there. But at this point, we don't. So no problem, Danielle. So at the so that is a big part of what we've been working on. I did get some goodies from Joanns this week that we just didn't tell Curtis about, but Curtis doesn't always know everything. So
Curtis has a way of seeing them.
Yeah, he always seems to find it. But I bought about 4 yards of, is this fleece?
Probably.
Yeah, felt. Because I decided I wanted to make a rag quilt and ended up finding a couple of cheaper, and I'm just going to say cheaper fabrics from Joann that I thought might be cute to kind of try a rag quilt. I've never done a rag quilt. This is supposedly Joann's kind of quilting fabric, but it was also on sale for like $1.99 a yard. And I thought, you know what, now's the time to buy it, grab it. And at some point, I hope to do that. I think there's a website from Leanne that actually has the quilt pattern in that. I meant to pull that before the live and just forgot about it. But anyways, that is something that I want to work on next. I do want to do a rag quilt. And then the last thing I did, Curtis saw me cutting this out today, was I did actually get out my AccuQuilt cutter and use the AccuQuilt today to cut out a quilt that I think is going to end up for John, because John really hasn't done a quilt for himself. And I want to do a Virginia Tech Hokey. Does that show up pretty good?
Yeah.
So I want to do a Virginia Tech Hokey quilt. So I'd cut out 10.5-inch squares, and I'd seen a pattern that I have yet to find again on YouTube. It's just amazing. There's so much out here, folks. And then when you try to find something, you can't find it again. You can't ever find it again. But I found this pattern where you put, you do the 10-inch squares, basically the layer cakes, and you put right sides together, and then you sew all the way around. And then once you have that stitched all the way around, you can cut it in triangles, and then you could flip them and turn them different ways. And I thought, this is such a busy print anyways, but I thought that pattern would really just pop with this orange. Whoever decided orange and maroon should be school colors is way beyond me. I grew up on blue and gold and red, white, and blue. And what were your school colors?
Red, white, and black.
Red, white, and black.
High school. And when I was in college, it was maroon and gray.
Yeah, maroon and gray. Never thought I'd be a maroon and orange fan, but after you live there for 10 years, you become a fan. I did not go to Virginia Tech, by the way. I did teach at Virginia Tech for several years, and I was teaching at Virginia Tech the day that we had the massacre on campus. So it's really made me a true Hokie through and through. The only difference is they paid me to become a Hokie versus me paying them. But I still follow Virginia Tech. It's still very near and dear to my heart. So what else is going on, Curtis?
Nothing really.
So this week,
No.
What's this week look like?
Oh God, I don't know. I'd have to look at the calendar and see what we have.
It was crazy. We were supposed to go to a theater production Friday, so we had to cancel that.
We had to cancel bingo. We had bingo today with one of our clubs at Sun City West, so we had to cancel that as well.
We belong to the Boomers Club, and they had bingo today, and so it was our first chance to go.
I don't have anything really on the calendar for this week. It's more of a light week. I know you have a doctor's appointment, I know, and I had a dentist appointment tomorrow, but I had to cancel that with being sick, of course. But so it's a light week, which is good because we need those every now and then.
It's just too crazy, right?
Yes.
So yeah, this week is hopefully going to be a calmer week for us. This is my 4-day week, which I'm very happy about. So I'll have Friday off. So that'll give me 3 days. Um, Even though we were sick and kind of down and out a little bit, John decided to rearrange the craft room yet again. So all the AccuQuilt stuff that was in the other room is now in this room, in this closet, and stuff that was in the utility room is now ended up in the garage. And we just like to, I like to try to move things around to make sure that we have as much space as possible and that we're utilizing it. One of the things that we're actually looking at is buying a multi-needle machine, and we'll see how that goes. Hey, Russ, thanks for dropping in. So, but we'll see how that goes. I enjoy my single needle. I love my embroidery machine. I think embroidery tends to be my first passion just because that's where I started years ago. I love working on the quilts. And like I said, we've got plenty of projects. I know one that I want to work on soon is the tilted presents that I got from Open Gate for Christmas. And I know it sounds strange to be January talking about working on a December project, but as you all know, we just finished, what was it I just finished for Christmas? I just finished something for Christmas, and it was like, well, that was actually supposed to be 2023, but now we're early for 2024. So,
bag, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tote bag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do need to make some tote bags for the beach because we are taking the grandkids to the beach in June. So we will
Jordy wants to know if you'll be doing a live every week. I have to mark my calendar since I watch so many.
We are planning to do a live every week. We're trying to figure out where the times fit. For us, this seems to be a really great time. Around 4 o'clock is Arizona time, which I think is around 6 o'clock Eastern. And so we're hoping, what we absolutely don't want to do is step on anyone else's. So if you've got other folks that you listen to at that time, that's great. But we've talked about Sunday afternoon for us seems to be a great time because this settles in before we get to dinner and that. So I think the plan is 4 o'clock on Sunday.
That's fine, but keep in mind we are going to have we do have some upcoming events. We do have some theater productions we're going to see on Sunday afternoons. So there will be some Sundays we won't be doing it.
Yeah. So we do have life too. You know how it is. And yes, Patty, I tell you what, I tend to catch more afterwards. I feel really bad because like today I was able to join Stephen and Walt for theirs, and they are actually doing a men's quilting sew along next Sunday morning, which I think for me is 6 a.m. But we'll see. But they asked us to be part of that and to be on there with them, and so that's very exciting. And because like in the quilt club here, there's one other man that quilts who never shows up for a meeting and never shows up for an activity, but he's there. And but we see. But yes, so that is kind of one of the things that we're anxious and excited to see about. We do want to knock out some other projects. I do want to work on some tote bags for spring. So I'm going home to see the grandkids for Easter. So we'll be back in Virginia the end of March because, of course, this year Easter's early. And so I would like to make some things for Easter. Last year we made carrots. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do remember those carrots.
We sewed like an orange batik with a green topper and then tied it with, I think we ended up using yarn, didn't we?
Yes.
Because we wanted to use jute. And we bought some at Dollar Tree and it was rank. It smelled so awful. And so we ended up buying yarn, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And so, but we filled it with jelly beans, and the kids just thought that was the most amazing thing ever.
It might be fun to make like a little pillow or like a little bunny pillow or a little chick pillow for the grandchildren. They might like that.
Yeah, so we've got to figure out something, some Easter project that we can take to them for Easter this year. My niece, who's really more like my sister, always has been, because we're very close in age, keeps reminding me that she did not get a tote bag for Christmas. I made them 4th of July tote bags. So if you had watched some of our shows from back in the summer, we made 4th of July tote bags for my daughter and for my niece. My niece is still using her tote bag to carry different things around back and forth to the grocery and that. It wouldn't have been so bad except my daughter managed to show her the tote bag for Christmas that she got, and my niece didn't get one. So my niece talked to me today and reminded me that she is still waiting on her Christmas one. So we'll see. Maybe she'll get a springy one, in March when we see her. And that's the nice thing about us getting to go back to Virginia is we get to see my nephew comes down with his wife, my niece comes down, and then we get to spend time with the 2 grandkids, and they are 4 and 6. And the 6-year-old is just the most precious little girl ever. And the 4-year-old is, wow, the 4-year-old boy is all boy. And I mean, he is just nonstop the entire time that we're there. Of course, it helps we like the excitement. We're also glad to get back to the retirement community we live in and recoup. But too crazy. So yes, we do need to get cracking. If you notice, we have a wall full of fabric to choose from. So we do just need to work on getting the fabrics cut and getting the tote bags and that put together. So we'll see how that goes.
My so-called life says hello. I absolutely love your channel. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. So as you know, if you've been watching anything and some of the things that we do, we're completely new to quilting. We started this about a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe. If you would see how much we've done in the last year and a half, it's kind of crazy. But it all started because we found this crazy, back to gnomes, found this crazy Disney gnome quilt that I absolutely had to have at a craft show. Would have been November of 22.
Yes, it was.
And so
no, it wasn't November.
21.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was 21.
Yeah, November of 21. And so the other community, so we live in Sun City West, and Sun City, the original Del Webb communities, had a craft show. We went to the craft show. They had all kinds of cool stuff because all these seniors that are retired, our community has a ceramic shop, a weaving shop, a automotive shop. I mean, it's just tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. But it's nice because we like to give homemade gifts. And so we went to get gifts for Christmas. It was on Thanksgiving weekend, I think.
Yes, it was.
And this crazy woman showed me this Disney gnome quilt that was beautiful, but she wanted $350 for it. And it's like, that's ridiculous. I mean, no quilt's worth $350. So we didn't buy it. I didn't sleep all night. Curtis knew when he got up the next morning that we were going back to the show and hopefully still get that quilt for $350. So as the story goes, we decided, I told Curtis it would be much cheaper if I would just buy a little bit of fabric and buy a sewing machine and learned how to quilt, then that would actually in the long run save us lots of money. Isn't that kind of the story?
The story, yes.
So
it sure is.
Now I think we're 9 machines in.
Don't get me started. I'm counting.
So we have a machine for everything that you would need. The issue is we need to figure out the time, and it just amazes me the projects and the stuff that you get done. If you look at some of the stuff Russ is doing, like the detail work, he's just doing some gorgeous projects. And so I am still practicing holding that 1/4 inch seam and trying to make things line up just like they should. I am so happy with the way the gnome quilt turned out, that each of the blocks actually hit the junction where they're supposed to, and that each of them ironed out and lined up the way they were meant to, which is exciting. And yes, I would agree that quilting becomes a very big addiction. I just never thought that would happen.
Oh, somebody thinks the Pac-Man machine behind you is the best. It was a Christmas gift from 2 years ago.
It was, and we still play that occasionally. It just doesn't get the attention it used to, but we do like that machine.
Katrina says hi. Good evening from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey, Jacksonville, Florida. How are you, Katrina? So just we appreciate y'all jumping in. We appreciate this community. I think it's been really surprising to us how welcoming everybody is in this community and how things are going. And Galaxica, is that?
Galaga is better.
Yeah.
No. I used to be a big fan of Cubert back in the day, in the 80s.
Oh.
I want more my fun little thing. And Donkey Kong, of course, the original was a lot of fun. But yeah, Galaga was nice. It wasn't one of my favorite games, but yeah, it takes me back, when I grew up.
Curtis still likes Donkey Kong and Cubert. I remember Cubert hopping on those stupid little tiles.
Yep.
And then sometimes locking yourself in the wrong way. That used to always drive me nuts. I did like Donkey Kong.
But my favorite game when I had in my Atari was Pitfall.
I don't remember Pitfall.
Yes, Pitfall was one of my favorites. I always thought it was fun, and I became a Pitfall, quite the guru with Pitfall. And then, of course, you can never go wrong with Batman. So that's classic. Jody wants to know, where do you cut fabric?
Oh, so we really we lucked out when we bought this house. We've only been in this house 2 years next month. We actually have a very large utility room. So if you've seen some of the other videos where we're behind a big work table, that's actually in our utility room. And so that's where we can fold fabric and do all that stuff. That's where I use the AccuQuilt cutter in that. And it really works out nice because it gives me a big space to lay out stuff. We bought a sublimation printer, so we're able to do t-shirts. I have a heat press and all that in there. So that's kind of the work room, if you would. How would you say that's the work room?
Yes.
And then this is the production room, I guess, right? So that's where this long arm is. This is where I've got a Juki that I actually, you can't see. Well, you can't see it because I got all the fabric. But Juki is what I'm using right now as my go-to machine for piecing. And yes, that closet's loaded with more craft stuff. But so this room really is the production. This is where the machines work and run, with the exception of the first long arm that we bought, which is the Handy Quilter Suite 16, which is now part of Curtis's master bedroom. And I still use that machine, though. I like that machine. I guess I'm just comfortable with it. So that's where I still tend to use it. The only thing that I've never been able to figure out so far is ironing. Excuse me. And so to iron, I have to go into the spare bedroom. But so it seems like whenever I quilt, I'm all over the house. Would you agree?
I agree completely.
He agrees completely.
You are all over the house.
So Danielle said she's got the Juki HCL. I have the DX2000 QVP. And for me, I think I tried to start with the Bernina 790, and I think it was just more machine and more complicated than I wanted it to be. I actually traded that machine because I didn't like it on this Epic 2 by Viking. So
Donnell wants the email address.
It's the info at the Quilting Does. So So yes, so we are still trying to figure things out. I mean, just something as simple as this pegboard that we put in. I don't know if you all have seen that. I could turn the camera around and kind of show you that too.
Oops, I need to retype that.
So this is the pegboard that we had put in, so we can try to keep up with all the projects and all the things that we want to work on. And unfortunately, I seem to be able to find projects and buy fabric faster than I sew. Would you say that's true, Curtis?
Absolutely say that's true.
Although you were a little disappointed not to go shopping and buying at the Rusty Barn this weekend.
Well, it was nice to just kind of have a weekend to chill. It's unfortunate that we're sick. Me more so than you, but yeah, it's all right. We'll make up for it.
We always seem to.
Yes.
So Curtis did put our email in the chat for you all. Feel free to always email us in that. Like I said, we appreciate each and every one of you. It's been so humbling for us to be so new to this community, and yet just feel so welcomed in that. So we're excited because QuiltCon is coming to Phoenix in 2025. So we hope to get to meet some of you then. We actually have the Palo Verde Patchers, which is our quilt group here in Sun City West. We are having our biannual quilt show the end of February. I think it's the 24th and 25th. I'll drop that down in the chat. But actually hope if you're local or close to local that you'll come out and see the show. We do a lot of baskets and a lot of different things for the show to kind of help support what's going on in that. So that'll be a big piece of it. And we'll see how those things, how that show goes. It's $5 to get in. It just amazes me. It's like, folks, people would pay $10 to get in this show, I'm sure, but it's been $5 forever and ever, and there's no desire to raise that price. So we have some folks that just do amazing, beautiful work. I just saw Becca on Friday showed her new lion quilt that she got done. And those are the type of things that I aspire to get to. But it's going to be a long while before I can get to that level, I think. But we'll get there. It's been a fun journey up to that point. So Curtis, anything else?
No, not for me.
So folks, we really appreciate y'all dropping in tonight. We are going to go hit the dinner bell because we have not had dinner yet. The plan is we will try to probably lock in around 4 o'clock on Sunday moving forward, unless we have some activity that bumps us out of the way. And if that's the case, we'll make sure that you all know that. But hopefully starting next week, we'll be live again, and I'll be able to do some sewing while we chat and do those type of things. But as always, we appreciate each and every one of you and all the things that you're bringing to the channel. So until next time, happy crafting.
Bye-bye.